to our city. This week's program is our end-of-the-year review, where we bring you highlights of our city. 2011 was a great year for the City of Elizabeth as we continue to lead the way on Go Green initiatives. New Jersey's first senior affordable Gold LEED certified building opened in July. A 30-unit, $10 million mixed-use investment was designed to incorporate environmentally conscious and renewable energy sources to create a greener tomorrow. Infusing innovation and vision to meet community needs, the Elizabeth River Trail broke ground, creating a transportation corridor from South Broad Street to Bridge Street, providing a scenic connection with recreational enjoyment. In June, Jersey Gardens unveiled a solar panel project, the 6th largest solar rooftop project in the world and the biggest in North America. Elizabeth has always been a place of destination, and our city is the fastest growing municipality in New Jersey among the top 5 largest cities. And because our city continues to grow and thrive each year, it is important to develop support structures to meet the needs and demands of our expansion. Last month, a brand new 1,500 space parking garage opened within our transit village. Dedicated partners, including the Parking Authority, the County of Union, and Union County College, made this deck possible. Supporting our Go Green initiatives, the new garage also contains 5 public charging stations for electric cars. Increasing mobility and safety, the City of Elizabeth has installed traffic signals and pedestrian improvements with funding from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. The intersections received LED crossing signs, new curbing with handicap accessibility, sidewalks and striping, and in addition, Caldwell Place were transformed into a two-way street, increasing access and causing traffic flow. These elements create a more positive shopping, traveling experience for individuals visiting our city. 2011 not only brought transportation enhancements, it also brought new services. A $5.3 million Trinitas Core building opened, providing professional training as well as assistance to anyone seeking health, wellness, and medical information. Our city's young people deserve the best indoor and outdoor recreation to hone their skills, remain competitive, and maintain healthy lifestyles. This past summer, the Recreation Department opened the largest municipal spray park in Union County at the Mickey Walker Center, featuring slides and colorful stationary water units. Construction was also started on new synthetic turf fields at the waterfront. The Office on Youth completed its 11th year. They continue to provide children with a productive atmosphere to learn and grow with programs such as teen mentoring, leadership programs, dance, performance art workshops, and a free SAT course. Our Office on Aging continues to increase services for our seniors with computer English classes, arts and crafts, as well as talent shows and live concerts. Identifying quality of life issues and providing a direct communication link to City Hall, we reactivated the Constituent Services Task Force. This initiative was extremely successful. We were able to address specific concerns based on the feedback we received. The team of young adults conducted more than 2,000 surveys by going door to door throughout all of the 6 wards, as well as speaking to residents at many of our city events. And as you can see, this was a very busy, productive year for our city. And our program continued its tradition of showcasing the rich diversity of our city, our country, and our state. So let's take a look back at some of the more memorable guests of 2011. Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, Come Grow With Us is administered by the Groundworks Elizabeth. And we have currently 5 gardens, and they are, not me. Groundworks Elizabeth, the director, Johnathan Phillips, is reviewing applications now for our next growing season. I'm pleased to announce that the Portuguese Social Instructive Club of Elizabeth will be having an event on April 8th. They will be our first hydroponic greenhouse. And what I really am excited about that program is it's going to be intergenerational. Grandparents and their grandchildren working together. And I want to really learn from their hydroponic greenhouse so that we can look
That's
at doing
growing
this.
fruits and vegetables without dirt, correct?
Yes.
It's just growing it with water and sunlight.
Yes.
That's an interesting philosophy to see how that's done.
And we're also looking at different things like grow a row that we would be asking Elizabeth residents, I should say Union County residents, to grow a row of fruits and vegetables so that they could donate them to the soup kitchens or food pantries. That one we're still doing some research on how to participate and how to control. We have, Come Grow With Us has grown almost 5,000 pounds of food. And I would really love to double that.
And actually 2 municipalities with UEZs, Elizabeth and Roselle, and I just wanted to get your thoughts and what do you think of this?
Well, I was
I
disappointed.
know what I think of it, so.
Well, you want to tell me first?
No, I figured I'll let you go. You're the guest
Thank
on the
you.
show.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
let you go first.
I was disappointed. I understand that there are programs that the state may have that may not work to what someone may think they should as a goal. But before you eliminate an entire program, I really think that you have to see what are the barriers. Now, this actually happened also with the BPU and certain monies that were diverted last year. If there are monies in a certain fund, let's find out why. Is it the paperwork? Because government is so good at having bureaucratic paperwork. And the thing is all the paperwork necessary? It's so cumbersome that most people don't even bother. Now, what I thought was exciting was Elizabeth has the highest participation in the UEZ. So what did you do that, got everyone to sign up and be a part of the program? And what would you suggest for the state to do that? Because I know that one of the things in the report is that it's the businesses within the UEZ over 34,000. There's only like a 20% sign up. So what did Elizabeth do?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, and since it's my show, I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to have to go on your show to start talking about this. But, 2 misnomers in the report that jump out at you real quickly, and you just mentioned one of them. Saving the money in the urban enterprise zone was actually part of the way the urban enterprise zone was designed, was in order for communities to build up some reserves in the urban enterprise zone and then do some type of job creation program with that, whether it be low interest loan to a business that was going to enhance its business or hire more people or create jobs. This bit of spending all the money in one given year was never the design of the program. And if the Christie administration wanted us to spend all the money in 1 year, and that was their vision, they should have told us, and I'm sure the mayors would have done that. But that's not the way the program was designed. And the second part of the question on why do we have so many businesses, I mean, for a period, we actually had someone who was well-versed in Spanish, another person well-versed in French Creole, and another person in Portuguese who went out and knocked on doors to encourage businesses to sign up. And that was one of the reasons we were able to get the most businesses in the state signed up. And the last, that's a double answer actually, because the urban enterprise zone, and the reason a lot of people don't join is because the Corzine administration and the McGreevy administration actually changed the rules. And if you had a business that earned more than $1 million a year, you had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork in order to get the rebate for the sales tax, and businesses get to buy goods as well. They've upped that to $10 million, but it's still not high enough. And that's one of the reasons some of these corporations had to hire a whole extra person just to deal with the paperwork, as you mentioned earlier in your comments, the paperwork necessary to be in compliance with urban enterprise zone. So they made it that much harder to access the money. Director Cosgrove, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
One of the things we often talk about is how do we deal with the discussion about gangs in our community or throughout our city. And there's a report that has to be filed that Trenton says and makes it public. And it's been our position that just emboldens the gangs and they get to read about themselves in the paper. But that doesn't mean we don't do anything. We follow up on intel networks. We also forward it. And also I'm told that if you check into jail, you have to register as a member of a gang, and they actually ask you when you check in, which gang do you belong to?
That's absolutely correct, Mayor. And some of the crime intel that we have is, first of all, the state of New Jersey has a ceasefire program. It's 15 municipalities that belong to the ceasefire program. as part of the ceasefire program, and we are on board with the ceasefire program, New Jersey Crime Track. And in order to be on board with this and to share information with these other 15 municipalities, we have to share violent crime information, specifically shootings or homicide information, with the state police, and they want it contemporaneously with the incident. So as these instances are unfolding, this information is being fed into the computer system.
And if you're arrested and you go to the Union County Jail, there's also a question asked, and whether you're a gang member or not, most people are going to say they belong to a gang just to be protected.
That's absolutely correct, Mayor. And one of the things, and one of the fallacies, or, first of all, when you use the word gang, it's an attention getter, it's a scare, it creates fear in people, just the word gang itself. But when you're arrested in any municipality and you're going to be incarcerated in a county jail or state facility, one of the questions they want to ask you about is, are you a gang member? Now, our penal institutions do that because they sort of segregate people according to what they put this information down. But once they identify themselves as a Blood or a Crip or a Latin King, whatever it may be, then they segregate them within the institution according to this. It's easier for them to police their facility, but it makes it more difficult for us on the outside trying to arrest these people and put them in there. Because are they really true gang members, or are they just people saying they're a member of this gang? And the other thing is, in the state of New Jersey, it's not a crime to be a member of a gang. It is a crime to commit any violation of any penal code. We go after people for the violations of the crimes that they commit. And subsequently, when we arrest them, we incarcerate them, they get a gang label. People talk about numbers of gang people. Sure, there's gangs and there's gang members, but they've all been arrested by Elizabeth Police Department.
Detective, welcome back.
How are you doing, Mayor?
Phyllis, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Detective, tell us about your role in the Neighborhood Block Watch program. You're not the only detective that works in, but you clearly were the one that helped start all of this get going.
Yes. What we do, Mayor, if we find that there's an inordinate amount of crime in an area, whether it's quality of life, squatters, and some of the abandoned houses, we'll go into that neighborhood and try to get the neighbors together to have a meeting, to discuss what some of the issues are, and we start the meetings that way.
And Dennis, you go throughout in different areas of the city, whether it be from the port to Elmore or from Bayway to North End. I mean, you traverse it all over the place,
Yes,
correct?
sir. That's correct.
And are the concerns different? Some of them are the same. Quality of life. Tell us about some of the issues.
A lot of the quality of life are the abandoned buildings. If there's an abandoned building in the neighborhood where squatters get in, the neighbors are extremely afraid of fire, something happening to that house because there's children in the house, living in the basement, living in the attic. That is one of the biggest concerns. The other concern is normally speeding cars.
Graffiti come up at the meetings?
Not too often, but the neighbors are told that we have a graffiti removal program throughout the city, and they are more than happy, especially when they see results done the very next day, if not that day, having that graffiti.
Do you think this has helped your neighborhood block watch groups? I mean, do you think your neighborhood may be a little stronger because of a block watch group?
Definitely. And that's why I said before, I think it's very important that people tell their neighbors all to come, not just if you have a problem, but just to come get to know your neighbors, what's going on in the city, and that way maybe they feel more comfortable if they do have an issue that they can call Detective Cabarly or the city or the police department directly.
And in some other cases besides foreclosures, we've had reports of maybe drugs in a neighborhood, and we've set up undercover operations, and you've been instrumental in doing that as well if they report drugs being sold out of a house.
That's correct. I have a direct access to all the narcotics detectives. Their commander, John Brennan, has been great in helping me out with manpower in order to attack these locations.
Would you recommend getting involved in a block watch group?
Definitely, and that's why they have so many. It's in every area throughout the city, and like was mentioned before, you can find the meetings are listed on the Elizabeth website. You can call city clerk's office, you can call public information office. Your office, Mayor, I know has information on it, but every area throughout the city has them, and I think they're very important.
The gentleman prior to said some great things about groundwork. Elizabeth, kudos to you both.
Thank you.
We're definitely proud to be associated with kids like that, and there's plenty more in this city.
That's right.
Now, you guys have a project that you're working on, the Trailway, is it? Am I saying it right? What's the actual name of it?
The Elizabeth River Trail.
And the Elizabeth River Trail entails what?
Our first phase, it's going to be done in phases, and it's been a dream that's been going on for a long time, and it's happening now. Construction has started. The first phase is from South Broad Street, right by the firehouse, along the back of the parsonage house, all the way to Bridge Street. It's about a quarter mile in length, the first phase. We thought it was a great location because you have everything's right nearby. You have the county, the city, you have the library, the students from the school, so everybody can enjoy it. Everybody's open to it. The hospital, take a walk, take a stroll during lunch. Hope to see you there at lunchtime.
Phyllis, are there still going to be signs up about historical and cultural things? And
Part of the design, part of the funding that we got was through a HART grant, actually. We're going to have artwork. The first phase is going to have it along the trail, and depending upon how we go on the second phase, it may be on kiosks and everything. It could be informative kiosks, but yes, definitely artwork.
so you have a physical fitness component and also educational component there.
Oh, yes.
And this is going to stretch from Pearl Street?
It's hopefully down to the Arthur Kill on one end and through Midtown beyond on the other end.
So that's going to be a healthy, educational 2-mile or whatever walk there.
You know, and if this all works out, as we're going north, we're going to connect into the Greenway system, which is actually a national trail going from Maine all the way down into Florida.
It's called the East Coast Greenway.
Now, who are the partners for this trail?
We've got a lot of thank yous. First of all, Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders gave us a seed grant to start things going, really helped us. We were written into, believe it or not, the National Transportation Grant, actually the Transportation Act of 2006, Federal Act, New Jersey DEP, and New Jersey DOT, and we've got a lot of people along the way that have made things a lot easier for us, and people have worked very hard on it, including Phyliss from the city, very hard.
Wow.
Thank you, Phyliss, for doing that.
Thank you.
But the mayor's been behind this from the beginning.
Tremendous.
The Department of Public Works has actually taken upon the contracting of it and actually the construction of it for us. We
Yeah,
thank-
our funders have been so supportive, and they're just as eager for us to start and move along, and we just hope that every time we're applying for another phase, they're right there behind us.
and
And now in the fire department, you've received funding through the Port Security Grant Program for emergency escape units. Now, as a layperson, I'm not so sure I know what all that means. So maybe you can tell our viewers, first of all, how we apply for the Port Security Grant Programs and the emergency escape units.
Through the federal government, through FEMA, we were able to apply for a grant for personal protective equipment. Working with our port partners across the river, New York City Fire Department, Police Department, their Homeland Security, and our units along the river here, we were able to apply, and we were awarded close to $900,000 for new turnout gear and the bailout system to more or less be compatible with our brethren firemen from New York City. Our gear was starting to get a little aged, and with this grant, we were able to get state-of-the-art equipment for our personnel.
Now, the Port Security Grant, is it a one-year grant, or how do we buy this stuff over the course of time?
Well, they gave us a time frame. We had about a year and a half from time of the award to actually purchase the equipment and then get our members trained. We did a wear test program for about 6 months on our turnout gear and our bailout system, different manufacturers, and then we, through our committee that we formed, we made our choice on what equipment we thought would benefit the city of Elizabeth, which we have here on my left. A hook that we can place in a windowsill. It has approximately 60 foot of rope, and with a descent device that we can, if we do have to deploy, we can lower ourselves down. It's a whole system. It's hooked by a harness onto our bunker pan. It's on us as soon as we enter the building when we go inside.
Now, will every fireman be fitted with one of those?
Every fireman that does interior firefighting in the city of Elizabeth was issued and is trained in the use of this apparatus.
So if your job is to stay outside the fire, then you will not have one of those on.
It depends on your position. We do have, as of this time now, all our members are trained. We no longer, we make sure that our men are mandatory that they have this training on. Now with the amount of calls and volumes we're getting,
Our manpower is a little stretched. All our members are committed to firefighting, and they've been well trained and outfitted with this equipment.
The Elizabeth Police Department was recently awarded a $500,000 grant for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Technology. What do we use this funding for, and what are we going to use it to purchase?
Okay, Mayor, we're using this to bolster our technological capabilities. We're going to make two major purchases with this money. The first is license plate reader technology, which we're going to be putting on the new fleet of Ford Explorers that we just purchased, 8 new Ford Explorers. And license plate readers, they're a system of 4 cameras. They're placed onto the vehicle. 2 are facing forward, 1 faces off to the side, and 1 faces to the rear. And they capture any oncoming vehicles by taking pictures of them automatically. And if you're going down like a lane in a parking lot, the one on the side of the car will read all of those license plates. Or if somebody comes up behind you, he's also captured in the rear-looking camera. Now, these pictures are automatically wirelessly sent back to a database in headquarters, which is connected to the state police hot list. Now, hot list is a list of any stolen cars or felony vehicles that the state police loads up every day into the computer. And it also contains all the motor vehicle information for every vehicle in the state. So we would know if a vehicle is suspended, unregistered, stolen, wanted as a felony vehicle. That's instantly brought to the officer's attention in the car once this information is read. And then it's stored. Just because it sees the plate, it doesn't forget it. It takes that picture, and that's also stored in the database.
And these license plates, when they come back in, have we had any luck with stolen cars? Have we found stolen cars, or have we found cars that may have been involved in a crime through this process?
Absolutely, Mayor. We've had many stolen cars recovered and arrests due to this program. We've recovered a number of carjacked vehicles. In addition to crime, we also get alerts. Amber alerts will come through on this, and silver alerts. Or we can locally put in any information we want regarding a particular car. Say we're looking for a particular license plate. We just input that into the
Now, an
system.
Amber Alert is for a child. What is a Silver Alert?
The silver alert is for elderly folks that become disoriented and they kind of wander away. Sometimes they wander away in their vehicles.
And so there would be an alert out, and if we saw that vehicle, we could then pull it over and assist that person or do whatever has to be done.
Absolutely.
And an Amber Alert is that still for a child, or
That's
is
for
it
missing
also
children. No,
missing children?
yes.
Social media is exploding, and
It is.
you're doing a lot of that for us.
Yes, I am.
Where do you
I
start?
work in the public information office, so I cover all of the events that's going on in the city, all the parades, the various city-sponsored as well as privately sponsored events. So for me, it gives me a chance to meet a lot of people, get to know a lot of people, take a lot of pictures and video, and then share them through social media. And it's a way for me to inform people about what's going on in Elizabeth, not only people who live here, but people who used to live here who think it went downhill, or are afraid of coming back to visit or to eat at our restaurants. So it's a great way for me to get out and about and learn about it. I joined the Public Information Office to kind of formalize that, so now I manage a lot of different websites that deal with different aspects of the city, and it enables us as City Hall to inform the public, to engage them in activities, to have them come out to events that they might not have been able to hear of.
But before we get into the more popular ones, Facebook, and talk about Nixle, which was one of our first attempts to do social media.
Yeah, Nixle is interesting. It's a tool that allows people, when you register, you put in your cell phone number or your email address, and it gives you alerts. So we can say, there's going to be road construction at a major intersection, so we can type that into our system. And then anybody who's registered in Nixle, they get that alert, either on their cell phone or on their computer, and they know to avoid the area.
Twitter.
Your favorite.
I like Twitter.
I know you do, 140 characters at a time. Twitter's a fun tool. Twitter is a way to succinctly get a message out there, whether you want to attach a picture or any other information. It's just a fun and interactive way of communicating with the public. And the way Twitter works, as you know, is that someone will follow Mayor Bolwich. That's what they would do. They'd type in Mayor Bolwich, and they'd see all the things that you're saying about the city and about topics that interest you. And what they can do then is they can respond to you. They can put an @ sign at Mayor Bolwich, and they can talk right directly to you as the mayor.
And Facebook.
Facebook is where I probably spend the bulk of my energy as the manager of social media, because it's really a way of pulling together a lot of media into one place. So you have, you know, video, pictures, posts. We have Twitter linked to it. You know, so we have a City of Elizabeth page. Or, you know, if you go to facebook.com/City of Elizabeth NJ, you'll be able to see all the things that are going on in the city, all the things that we're doing at City Hall, and all the things that are going on that we're talking about and responding to.
So who wants to start with, you know, exactly define bullying, maybe at your level and then also at the 4th and 5th grade level or a younger level?
I'll start.
You'll start.
So bullying is something that happens, you know, to everyone, every age, whether you're 5 years old or 50. It can happen to you, and a lot of it that we see happens especially in middle school, and it starts when you're young. So, I mean, bullying can be emotional, it can be physical. A lot of the times with girls, you see that it's emotional. A lot of the times with boys, you can see it's physical. And it's just something that we'd like to call attention to, because there have been so many incidents happening recently that you see in the news, and, you know, that we've even noticed more, being aware about that. And we feel it is really important, especially for the younger kids, you know, to nip it in the bud, to get it while it's starting.
So Ariana talks about defining bullying. How common is bullying in the schools?
Bullying is very common, and it happens all the time. It can happen discreetly or openly, and it's up to the student or whoever is being bullied to go up to someone. But at times that could be very hard because they're scared or embarrassed to tell others that they're being bullied.
Now, if you're too young to have children, but maybe you have baby brothers or sisters or younger brothers or sisters, or maybe you just know of other young people, what would you tell young people to look for? What would you tell young people? How would they respond to bullying? How would you tell a young person? Who wants to take that question?
I'll take it.
You'll take it.
Well, I would tell a little girl, a little boy to tell their teacher or talk to their parents about it, because they don't want to like address the problem and something else happens. So by telling their teacher, an adult, that might help resolve their problem.
Those were some of the highlights of the 18th season of Our City. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. Our new season will start January 9th with the State of the City address. Be sure to tune in, as I will be detailing some new initiatives and programs that are sure to continue making Elizabeth #1. On behalf of my wife Nancy and our daughter Jacqueline, thank you for making 2011 a great and memorable year. May God bless you and your family in this new year.